On my left is Reverend Father Emmanuel Abekwe, formator at the St. Peter's Regional Seminary here in Cape Coast. He has a doctorate in systematic theology. He is a member of the Catholic Voice editorial board. He has contributed an article on synodality and what every Ghanaian should know. Father Abekwe, you are welcome.
Thank you, sister.
And then second to do this honor is Reverend Father Francis Odum, who is the managing editor at the Catholic Mission Press Limited here in Cape Coast. He also has a doctorate in business administration. He also has an article on adaptive captivity for a synodal change. Father Francis, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
So without much ado, to Father Francis, can you tell us or give us some background about the Catholic Voice?
Thank you very much, sister. And to all of you viewers at home, we're happy to come your way. Catholic Voice magazine was started in 1926. And I'm sure the date of its starting must sound archaic in your ears because it was the very first Catholic publication in the Gold Coast. And it was started because when Eugene Moreau and Morat came to lead the re-evangelization effort at the Gold Coast, as I was told yesterday at the museum at Elmina, one day he needed to travel to Kumasi to meet the Asantehene. And when he came back from that trip, his intentions were misconstrued. He had been accused that he was going to sell French interest. So there was the need for them to give a rebuttal. And there was no means of doing that because the church didn't have a publication at the time. So this was the genesis. It became necessary that a publication is started by the Gold Coast Catholic Church so that not only is it going to teach people and give catechetical directions, but also it could be in a conversation with the bigger society they were, operating in. So Catholic Voice magazine has been around for the past 97 years, 3 years to come, and it will be our 100 years. And we're happy to be part of this new edition, special edition, which is the relaunch version of it.
Thank you very much, Father. Father Abekwe, why the need for a relaunch of the magazine?
As Father Francis rightly mentioned, when we go back to the Gospels, one of the things that Jesus told his disciples and is telling us perhaps today from Matthew chapter 10 verse 27, he tells the disciples that whatever you hear in the dark, you must speak about it in the light, and then whatever you hear spoken to you now, speak from the rooftop. So a magazine like the Catholic Voice is also one of the means through which the church can reach out to a very wide audience with the gospel, so that the gospel can be shared with so many people. So people come to church, they listen to homilies, they go for meetings, they are given catechetical instructions, but there's very many others who have no means at all of accessing the mass or hearing the homily. And so a magazine like the Catholic Voice is one of the means through which the church can reach out to a wider audience of people with the gospel, so that they will come to know Christ, they will come to know God, and then their faith will be strengthened. And not only that, the magazine contains contents or articles for good citizenship. So it's not only about matters of faith, but also social responsibility of citizens in a country like ours. So I consider the Catholic Voice very relevant. It has been relevant from the time it was established in 1926, and it is going to be relevant today and then also in the future because of its teachings.
Okay. Would you like to add anything?
Yes. So as a tool of evangelization, it is very easy for you, for a Catholic, to give a Catholic Voice, a copy of it away to another person who may not even be a Catholic. So I remember in times past, there were subscribers that paid for copies for the voice to be given to like secondary schools, other places that the word of God must be sent. So in light of that, I consider this to be a very potent tool for evangelization, because it can simply be given away. You know, it can be at places that we cannot have pulpits. You can have magazines. For instance, if you go to a hotel, if you have a very good Catholic who wants to donate one to a hotel, you can easily have copies of the Catholic Voice at the reception, at tables, you know, so that it can be part of the conversations of the day.
I guess, or I believe, you have a theme for this edition. So can you share with us?
So this special edition was created under the theme Becoming a Synodal Church. And this, the background of it, I'm sure Father Abekwe will speak at length about that, but the background of this is that Holy Father Pope Francis, already in October 2021, called the whole church to a synod. And the theme for the synod was for a synodal church, communion, participation, and mission. So he called us to this special time of thinking together, walking together, and acting together in a new way. And as I said, Father Abekwe will speak to that. But this theme was significant because, you know, our name, the name of our magazine is Catholic Voice. And to start the synod, the Holy Father called us to what he called a listening session, where every parish, every diocese, every institution of the Catholic Church was supposed to be part of a conversation. Let us hear your voice, what you are saying, you know, how do you assess the church, what direction are we on, where are we going? And so voice becomes so significant in a synodal church. Everybody's voice matters. And guess what? The Catholic Voice magazine then gives us an opportunity to rally all the voice of our Catholics in our country and beyond, so that through this voice we can build a synodal church together.
So if you are just joining us, this is Capdol TV, and then discussing now is the relaunch of the Catholic Voice. Father Abekwe, your take on that?
Yeah, so as Father rightly mentioned, Father Francis rightly mentioned, synodality, which is the theme for this special edition of the Catholic Voice, the word itself comes from two Greek words, sun, which means word, okay, and then hodos, which means path or way. Okay, so we are walking the path or way together. We are journeying together. So Pope Francis is bringing our minds back to the fact that the church is a community where all the members walk together, journey together, participate together, and then also carry out the mission of evangelization together. And why are we working together, and which way? We are working together because Jesus Christ himself teaches us that he is the way. And so we are walking in the way of Jesus together. Now, one of the things we need to understand is that because the church is working together as a program people, everybody matters. And the church has always taught that everybody matters. And so historically, one of the ways through which the church brought the minds of people, of the members, to understand that we are all working together in this part of Jesus was the holding of synods. Synods where church leaders are called together to discuss issues about the church's mission of evangelization. And so synods and ecumenical councils became the raison d'etre through which the church made everybody realize that we are working together and journeying together in the mission of evangelization. The difference that Pope Francis is bringing by this synod on synodality is that when it comes to synod, it's mostly the bishops who are invited to attend sessions and meetings in Rome and discuss issues. But this time around, he says that all of us are involved in this synod, and that is why it is a synod on synodality. So, whatever suggestions or proposals or views that the bishops will be taking to Rome in October are views and decisions and suggestions and recommendations that have been made from the grassroots. So this time around, it's not starting from the top-down approach, but we are using the bottom up. So go to the children, talk to them about the church, talk to them about God, bring their views, go to the women, go to the men, and then we all gather to discuss. And that is the difference that Pope Francis is saying. And so it simply means that all of us matter. And all of us are called to listen, all of us are called to share, and all of us are called to journey together. And that is the new way of being a church. It has been done already, but this is old things being done in a different or new way today. That is what synodality is all about, and that is a call of Pope Francis, and I believe that it's a good call worth heeding too.
Yeah. So on that note, what kind of articles are we looking at when it comes to the Catholic Voice, and who qualifies to write?
So let me take the second question.
Okay.
And so who qualifies to write? Everybody qualifies to write.
Okay.
And the Catholic magazine comes to us in various subsections. So we have sections on spirituality and psychology, we have sections on faith matters, we have sections on the voice of our shepherds, dealing with the bishops, we have sections on spirituality, prayer, and so on, the Bible and all of that. So everybody who has something to contribute in all these sections is welcome to contribute articles.
Okay.
Beyond that, we have other experts or scholars in various fields, with various expertise, who may be contacted to specifically contribute articles on various themes. But everybody qualifies to contribute.
Okay.
And then, so to come to the first question, what articles are we looking at? So as I mentioned, we have articles on all these sections. And I contributed an article on synodality from the point of view of theology. Father contributed from the point of view of both theology and business, because he's a businessman. I don't know whether he has a lot of money, but he's a businessman. And then we have articles on prayer, spirituality, psychology, and so on. So those are and then we have news on our bishops. Okay. So especially the new ones who were recently ordained, last week in Accra and Yoso.
Okay. There was also a very interesting article that someone sent us from Accra on Father Bernard. And this is, a social media meme, something that is going on, rocking everybody. And it happened when Father Bernard Kofi Akon, our colleague, departed us. And during the burial ceremony, somebody threw herself on the casket. And all of a sudden, this has been used to symbolize everybody, everything. People falling, missing a good scoring opportunity and everything. So this author sent us the article from Accra asking the question, is social media now covering our culture up? Is it now making us more insensitive? Because there is no culture that allows that the dead be mocked, right? We venerate their memories and we cherish them. So there was an article like that, and we feel that that responds to a social but also a moral question, and technology question. And there was also a column for Bible quiz. We want readers to be able to benefit from reading it. So there's a Bible quiz that is it's not Bible quiz, it's faith quiz on the faith, right? So every month we're going to bring this out, 10 questions, and you answer them correctly, you get a reward for answering them. And then at the end of the year, we reward a parish that had the most amount of correct answers. So like if Fourth Ridge Parish, for example, has a lot of parishioners responding, then Fourth Ridge Parish is able to win an award because a lot of its people are following the faith and are able to answer the questions about their faith. We also had a message from our patron. Our patron is the Archbishop of Cape Coast, Most Reverend Charles Gabriel Palmer Barkel, at whose direction this whole magazine is being redone, repackaged for evangelization. So he sent us a message of goodwill and prayers that this new effort can continue. So if you put it together, and then we also have news articles on what's happening in the Catholic world, and also Ghana specifically. Archbishop Sarpon's 90th birthday is there. There's a catechist who celebrates 50th anniversary, and a couple of other events that are occurring in our Ghana Catholic Church. So we have articles like that. Yeah.
Full package.
Is this magazine exclusive to the Cape Coast Archdiocese, or it is open to other dioceses? So,
as I said earlier in your first question, in answer to your first question, the Catholic Voice magazine started as a national, paper, because it was the only tool available to the Gold Coast Catholic Church before, we had dioceses spring up and all of it. So that character of being a national paper has always been with us. Now, we're not producing this for the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference. I must say that to clarify. But the Catholic Voice itself has always been, one that is circulated around the country. So it's not only going to be limited to the Archdiocese of Cape Coast. But as you know, there's an article over here about the history of the Church of Cape Coast, of the Archdiocese of Cape Coast, which coincidentally and not surprisingly is also the history of the Church in Ghana, right? So everything that the Catholic Voice churns out benefits every Catholic. That's why we believe that it helps us to unify voices. So it's not limited to the Archdiocese of Cape Coast. We're going to be able to distribute in Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, Yoso, and other places that our limited resources can permit us to be able to reach out to.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have sponsors?
Do we have sponsors? For this special edition, we had sponsorship from Quality Insurance Company, which is our Catholic company, and QLAC, Quality Life Assurance Company, and we are grateful to them for coming our way to help us to bring this special edition. And we are also using this medium to call for more sponsors, because if we can bring this to the doorstep of every Catholic in the country, it will depend on how much people sponsor. It's our target that we'll be able to supply Catholic second cycle institutions as well as Catholics in other secular institutions. And we would need sponsors to be able to bring their voice free to them or at a limited cost.
Yeah. Okay. So to those of you watching us at home or wherever you are watching us from, this is Capital TV, and then we are discussing the need for the relaunch of the Catholic Voice. And as you rightly heard Father saying, the Catholic Voice is open for new sponsors. If you are interested, I believe Father is going to leave a number you can contact for this. To Father Abekwe, what are some of the challenges that you think can arise as a result of this Catholic Voice relaunch thing?
Okay, so it has always been said, even though I disagree completely, it may be the truth that if you want to hide something from the African child or the African person, you put it in a book, which simply means that we are not very adept at reading, and it's always difficult. So one of the challenges we have in Ghana generally is that not too many people love to read. Okay, so reading is going to be one of the challenges. But we are encouraging everybody who is literate to love to read and read Catholic Voice magazine. So that will be one of the challenges. The other challenge will be, as Father said, sponsorship. We need corporate bodies, individuals, and other companies to come on board and sponsor the publication of the Catholic Voice, so that we can reach out to as many people and as widely as we can throughout the country. So sponsorship and funding, financing the publication may also be one of the challenges, but we are hoping that we can ride that storm and print as many as we can. Okay. The other one will be purchasing power, okay, because in Ghana it's difficult for people to, even those who are earning monthly salaries, to make ends meet. At the end, most people borrow, and so having money to purchase every time, every day, every month might be one of the challenges, and so monetary considerations will also be one of the challenges that I envisage. And then marketing, because if you are to go to the corners of Ghana and bring the Catholic Voice magazine to as many people as possible. It takes some effort in terms of financing. You need to drive or bring them through cars and so on. So transportation costs, bringing to places like Jasakan and Tamale and so on, maybe another challenge. So basically, these are some of the challenges we envisage. But I am optimistic that as we continue, we will find a way of overcoming these challenges so that the Word of God contained in the Catholic Voice may be accessible to as wide public as possible.
Okay. So, Father, when is the relaunching?
So
and then the time.
Okay, thank you. So the relaunch is going to be tomorrow, and I'm sure our viewers are now hearing this for the first time. But if you're hearing us for the first time about the relaunch of the Catholic Voice magazine, then it's going to be tomorrow, which is April 28th, right, at 6:30 at St. Peter's Regional Seminary. And we invite you to join us for the relaunch. It's not just coming together to relaunch a magazine, but we also are packaging the evening as an evening of culture, an evening of faith and prayer. You know, so we have some choirs coming to sing. St. Peter's Regional Seminary Choir will be there to perform. We have a poetry recital from Holy Child School. St. Augustine's College, boys choir will be there to sing, and we have Panis Angelicus is also coming to sing. Besides, we have the Archbishop of Cape Coast, the patron of the paper, coming as a guest of honor. And then we have Dr. John Atram as the chair for the occasion, and a host of other things that blend in to celebrate this rich culture we have of Catholic Voice and all of it. So we invite Catholics and all our viewers who are looking at us that if you want a good way to spend your Friday evening, come to St. Peter's Regional Seminary, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, and be part of this wonderful event.
Okay. Are there any contact, phone numbers, email, where people can send their articles to?
Yes, Father will...
Okay, so we will surely send information to Cavdil to put on your screen for us, but as I call the number, if you have a pen and paper, you can write it down: 055 740 7752. I take it again: 055 740 7752. You can send, this is also a WhatsApp number, so you can send us your articles and other information that you have for Catholic Voice magazine via this number. You can also send us articles at catholicvoicemagazine@gmail.com. That's very easy to remember. So these are some of our contacts, and Cavdil TV will do us a good job to put it up on the screen for our viewers.
Okay. Or better still, if you miss those numbers, you can still call any of the Cavdil numbers, and then we will gladly respond to you. Thank you very much for joining us for this evening. We had a conversation or discussion on the relaunch of the Catholic Voice, and I did this together with Reverend Father Emmanuel Abekwe, formator at the St. Peter's Regional Seminary and also a board member of the Catholic Voice editorial board, and also Reverend Father Francis Odum, who is the managing editor at the Catholic Mission Press, also a member or the one like in charge of the Catholic Voice. This is Cavdil TV, and thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.